change it. I think that's one of the reasons why Clinton won. You know, Clinton had this no matter what.
I'll tell you, when we first had this conversation about the letters, you were right. And
you know, I was just playing it up, and these guys are like, "What? It has a boost!" You know, I mean, over 25-year-old guys.
Poor job of organizing, poor job of educating too.
Yeah.
I think I got it. You got it?
Oh, what do you?
Can everybody
Are
hear
you
it?
trying to blend in so you can get the COVID shot down there in Florida or something? What are you
No,
trying to do?
it's like, look, first of all, let's make sure that everybody can hear us. Let's make sure that there's no echo. Okay? Because if needed, I have my earbuds right here, and I would have to crawl underneath the table, which is where you like me the most. That's where you like me the most, right?
Yes.
And I'll put my earbuds in. But I want to make sure.
What is up with that shirt? I mean, fucking
there's a reason.
Called and he wants it
There's
back.
a reason. There's a reason behind it. There's a reason behind it. Because you know what? All right, let's see. I really can't see anything. Audio is good. Bill says audio. Oh, thank Christ. Thank Christ that Bill says the audio is good. Yeah, I feel like this, D. I feel like I just haven't fucking been anywhere. I feel like we haven't traveled. Like, it hasn't been a vacation in like a year and a half. I feel like being on vacation tonight. So tonight, I'm on vacation.
That is fantastic.
I'm on vacation tonight.
I hope you can trick your mind into thinking that you are in a vacation.
Well, I am.
Look, miserable.
I have my adult beverage. Okay. See, like, this is where Nick Grim Green would plug his bottle, because he's got like a bottle company making fucking bottles for him.
We should make one as well too.
Why don't we have a bottle company making bottles for us? This is totally not right. It's totally not fair. So I just have my Iron Flask, and every time I say Iron Flask, I make $0.0. Just want everybody to know that, right? Okay, so really not a very good promotion, but I've made my adult beverage extremely strong tonight. It's a very strong adult beverage.
That makes for good adult entertainment and content for the DP show.
Now,
and good evening to everybody in the chat. Good evening, Larry. Good evening, Katarina, Marshall, everybody. And by the way, thanks to everybody for your well wishes again. I'm okay. I've been a little bit. These last 2-3 days have been a little bit rough on me.
You know, I know. Listen, hold on. I know you've been a little bit depressed. So, what I want to do is I want to sing a little song for you.
Okay.
I want to sing, but you have to play along. Okay, will you play along?
Do I ever say no to you?
Oh, you have to play along. Okay, you ready? You ready?
Ready.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Go ahead. Oh, what's the matter?
How the fuck am I supposed to?
All right. We'll try another one. It's fun to stay at the Y.
Such a douche.
Come on, do it. Fucking do it.
That was fun.
All right. See, I told you I'm on vacation.
That was hilarious.
It was. Thank you.
But today I shaved.
I was gonna say your face is looking much better. I mean, it'll never look as good as mine, but it is starting to look much better.
Yeah, it's healing. I shaved today, and then Connie gave me a bath, which is really funny. I mean, I wish I could record it for you. I mean, it's the most hilarious thing. But she puts me in the jacuzzi. I got one of those little chairs that old people have to put in the shower. And I sit on it in the jacuzzi, and then she runs water. She fills up a bucket, and then she washes me all over. And then I stand up with my 2 broken arms, and then she rinses me off from there. It's just, the whole process is just so funny. But,
your wife should.
I feel so good. I feel good.
Your wife needs to win an award.
Absolutely. Oh, this is gonna cost me. Don't worry. It'll be another.
Oh, for sure, dude.
We're another house somewhere.
We're talking jewelry. I mean, I'm thinking another house in Greece. I'm thinking
it could be. It could possibly be. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's completely deserving of it.
Yes.
Completely.
Good evening to Mr. Bill Tarling, and thanks for his help as always with the DP show. He is collecting your questions and comments in the chat if you're just too shy to call in. And he will pass them on to me if we need to bring them up here on the show. The telephone lines are open. 215-383-5752 is the telephone line.
They want me to bring your volume up a little bit. Here, go ahead. Talk now.
215-383-5752 and press 1 when you hear the British lady speaking, and then we can patch you into our studio here, and you can participate with me, Phil, and Dave here in just a little bit.
Oh, we should bring our guest in. Was that the cue to bring our guest in?
Yes, we should. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Good news today. I got a phone call from Maryland.
Yeah.
I thought I was wanted by the FBI, honestly.
Yeah, really. What's going on?
When it came in like that, undetected. But it was the FDA telling me that Inikin's PMTA applications have been accepted. And they are moving on for filing and review now. So very exciting times.
Before we started the show, you said, hey, make sure to bring that up. And that was the one fucking thing that I had to do this entire show.
Yeah,
and
but
you blew it for me.
You should have done it before Dave came on. So I thought you forgot.
I was going to.
Oh, okay.
But now I got nothing to do. Fucking sucks.
You do. I mean, you look great.
Is Melissa here? Is Melissa here yet?
You look like you look like Don Johnson went
a little bit.
Golden Corral 27 days in a row.
I'm thinking a little bit.
What you look like?
Like if I had a gun on my side right here. You know what? Almost like like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing like Tom Cruise?
Let's not stretch it now, Phil.
A little bit. I'm thinking.
I gave you an overinflated Don Johnson. Let's just not take it to that level.
Oh my God.
But anyway, hey, look who's with us here, Mr. Dave Morris, also known as Gravy. We're going to get into why they call him Gravy here as well too. He is the current vice president of SFATA. He is the owner and founder of 𝗬𝗵𝗶𝗀. You also have a liquid company and a distribution company, right?
I do, yes.
Can you tell us the name of your liquid company and your distribution company?
Sure. My liquid company is named Vape Brands, and the distribution company is 𝗣𝗵𝗵𝗶, actually.
Yeah, well, we know 𝗣𝗵𝗵's been around for a very, very long time, and just so many titles. You're also, I mean, I know you were involved with the Arizona State group there, the trade association. Are you still involved with that, or did they change?
No, I am not only still involved. I am the current president of Arizona Smoke Free.
Look at that! It's such a multi-talented man.
He's got a lot going on.
No wonder you can't go on any dates. I mean, he's just occupied with advocacy. It's just too much.
Had I known, I would have made his lower thirds like a lot more busy. I had plenty of room to put other shit in there.
Yeah, it's just not enough room.
Really did.
Not enough room for.
I think you know what's bothering me the most about this broadcast right now?
What?
Is that the microphone is in the way of how unbuttoned my shirt is.
Yeah.
See, like you can't see it. You can't see it. Can't see it when it's over here.
Just keep moving to the left.
How about I just do the whole show like this?
You can't. You can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to you, Dave. For people that might not know you, give us just a little bit of history of how you quit smoking, got into the industry, and what kind of drove you to get to the point where you are today.
Oh man. So yeah, like you said, like I just like almost everybody else in the industry, I quit smoking via vaping. Almost immediately after doing that, I started DIYing just because like it's cool. I had fun doing it. Pretty quickly over the course of about a year and a half when I started DIYing, I was mixing up bottles and giving them to my friends just to see what they liked, if they liked the stuff that I made. Started charging people, not much because it was DIY obviously. And after a while I realized I was doing that so much that I was like, man, I should probably just, go find a lab to co-pack me and, try and make a run on this. Yeah. Even at that point, it was never supposed to be like a full-time thing. I had a real job just like a lot of us did beforehand. Pretty quickly after I got it, started having my stuff lab made and stuff like that. Some of the other business owners around kind of told me about advocacy. And, at the time I had no idea what, the industry was up against, but went to a meeting, joined the Arizona group, very quickly, got introduced to SFATA. I was a SFATA member within about, call it like 8 months of when I started my company. And later that year, I got elected to the board, and I've been on that board ever since. I've been on the Arizona board ever since. What am I missing here? Oh, 𝗬𝗵𝗆𝗀. So a few years ago, we were talking about the just in general the problems the industry was facing, and the one thing that kept coming up was like, man, like if we can get kids to stop vaping, I think this would all be a whole lot easier. Fighting this advocacy battle, and we looked at some of the surveys that had been done, including the National Youth Tobacco Survey. And we saw that the majority of kids were not getting access to products through, buying them from irresponsible brick and mortar stores, or what everyone was saying at the time was they were all getting it from online. And it turned out neither one of those was true, and that the majority of them were getting them from what the National Youth Tobacco Survey calls social sources, which is just like, older friend, older relative, stuff like that. And at the time, I had no idea how we were supposed to address that. But, eventually we came up with the idea for 𝗬𝗵𝗆, and it's been a whole process trying to get into a real product that people can use. But
Yeah, we'll talk about we'll talk about that in detail a little bit more. But how quickly did you realize getting involved? Let's say, you know, starting with Arizona, the state group. But how quickly did you realize that we were fucked? Like, you know, what we're up against politically. I think when I look back at my tenure in advocacy and even today continuing, but when I started back in 2013, I quickly realized that we're up against something here that is just a tremendous amount of power against us, right? Do you feel the same way?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was not very long after I got involved with the Arizona group that I realized what we were kind of up against. And honestly, at this point, like, I'm just surprised that we're still here. You know, if they were to make a movie about the vaping industry, you know, there's a lot of ways that they could take it. But if we were the good guys in it, then it would definitely be one of those movies about like the plucky band of misfits that overcomes just insurmountable stuff.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny that you say that. We're still here. I mean, through all that they've put us up, we're still here and we're still fighting. So that's saying something about the industry. But I think when people fall into that category, once you get involved, because it's one thing to be, okay, well, I pay my dues. This state association is doing whatever it's doing. If they ask me to show up, I'll show up and, you know, say a few words and I'll leave. That's one category. And then there's a category of people like me that just fall into it, you know, like balls deep. Like I'm going to go all out. I'm going to do whatever I can, whether it's going to be on a city, local, county, state, federal level, whatever, to try to defend this product. And I feel like that portion, the second portion, it's just a minuscule amount, and it's always been a minuscule amount through the entire course of advocacy for vaping. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think in anything that there's, you know, a problem that affects an entire group of people, it's always 5 or 10% of the people actually, you know, do something substantial to try and solve the problem, and it's no different here.
I mean, even seeing you get involved in the last few years in advocacy, I remember, you know, when we first started and really getting into this, and I kind of veered off to that advocacy role. You continue to be more of the YouTube entertainment, but even you in the last 2-3 years, I mean, it's just, you get to the point where you say, I got to do something, right? Yeah,
I mean, you know, I've done what I could. I've stepped in where I can, and if anybody wants my help, obviously, just reach out to me. You know, especially like Nick Orlando. I've told Nick several times.
Happy birthday to Nick Orlando, by the way. It's his birthday today.
It is. Happy birthday, Nick Orlando. Yes.
Happy birthday, Nick.
And you know, I'll step in and I'll help out where I can, but it's just and I think it's become pretty clear on the show, like especially the last few shows that we've done, the last few DP shows, the last few smoker shows, is that it's just there's a lot of wind out of my sails, man. Right? I haven't seen any win. Well, have we seen any wins outside of the, you know, the little flavor ban win that we got here in Florida? It's just that I feel like it's a losing battle. I really do, and I feel like, man, even if we could get a little bit, it's now we got to win over the smokers again, right? Because they've been faced with nothing but piss poor advertising, piss poor news, piss poor studies, just piss poor false information, right? We'll get to that one. So I think it's just I think I'm not going to stop. You know, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to do the videos. I'm going to still do the shows, and you know, I'll help out where I can. But it's like, David, are you our last hope, man? Is SFATA our last hope? What else do we have at this point?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we have is I know this is going to sound like a cliche, but the thing that we have is each other. You know, like we were talking a little bit before the show about kind of the savior complex that this industry has, and I think at the end of the day, it's never going to be one person or one organization that saves everybody. It's always going to be a coalition of people, of organizations, of just like-minded people in general, I guess.
So how come like-minded people have never been able to get together in this industry?
Like, how many times have we heard, VTA needs to join SFATA, SFATA needs to join 𝗂𝗂, 𝗂𝗂 needs to join, like, we all need to be this one big happy family. But they don't understand that these egos in this industry, especially in the advocacy world, are just fucking tremendous. It's unbelievable. Nobody wants to work with each other.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and my theory on this is that the reason people are doing that is everybody wants to be that white knight that saves the industry, and they want all the credit for all the successes and stuff like that. And unfortunately, that means that, well, it's kind of like bullying in elementary school. Like if you're not feeling great about yourself, there's two ways that you can feel like you're better than everyone else. You can either build yourself up, or you can tear everyone else down. And I think for the most part, a lot of the advocacy scene in the vaping industry has made the wrong choice on that.
You just described 𝗨𝗏𝗏𝗏 to the T. But anyway, let's get back to SFATA. Again, reorganized board. And again, I have nothing against SFATA, but I mean, the board has been reorganized in the last 5 years more than shaving feels back, which happens every 2 days. I mean, it's just like complete reorganization, new board members. And I get that. I mean, it happens. But you do have a team now in place. You got a couple of new people that you put on the board just recently on there. And what is the goal? What is the goal for 2021 for SFATA?
Well, so first off, I want to address like the board reorganizations and stuff. Like we have elections every year. Mm-hmm. So there's always going to be people coming and going because of that. And, like Phil was mentioning a second ago, people get burnt out. Yeah. And that absolutely happens. So yeah, we do have a couple of new board members. We have Sean Casey and we have Taylor Cage just recently joined us. Uh-huh. Earlier last year, 𝗬𝗠𝗏 Stroud joined us. All three of them have been fantastic. I love working with all of them.
By the way, Lindsay, that doesn't know that the D in the DP stands for Dimmy. I just want to put that out there. This is Lindsay. Hope she doesn't do that in her op-eds.
No, to be fair, that was actually my fault.
I know, but still, the point is she should know, for crying out loud, that the DP stands for Dimmy and Field, for crying out loud. She's in this industry. It's embarrassing. Anyway, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm happy to throw her
balls. Don't worry. It's a DP show. We got to bust a little bit of balls.
Right. Absolutely. But yeah. So as far as what SFATA is doing, this year specifically, we have a lot of new programs coming out. Just there are some vacuums in the industry now. Some spaces that need to be filled, and we're doing our best to fill those in the most responsible way that we can. Obviously, it's a monumental task. So I can't promise and say, yeah, we're gonna be able to take over everything that other organizations did in the past. Yeah. But we're doing our best. We just had our first state council call yesterday, and I think it went very well. Obviously everything like that is going to be something that you have to grow on, get more people involved and stuff like that. But we've made a lot of policy changes recently just to be more inclusive. Before, just like most organizations are generally, they only want to give information to their members, their paying members, because that's kind of an incentive for people to join.
Correct.
We are, and there's always going to be some things that are still going to be like that, but we're trying to be more representative of the entire industry, kind of in the hopes that if we show people exactly what we're doing, that's going to make them want to support us financially with membership dues and whatnot, instead of kind of asking them for money first and then showing them what they're getting for it afterwards. So a lot of that stuff is just open to business owners. The state council is open to all states, regardless of whether those states are SFATA affiliates or not. We're trying to do a lot more to explain and just like show to the public what we're doing too, because I know for the last few years we've had issues where people have said, well, what's SFATA doing? And I'm just like, man, we're doing so much. It's just like it takes up all my time, but we were kind of too busy doing things to talk about what we're doing. Yeah. And I'm understanding more and more now, and the entire board is that letting people know what you're doing is in some cases just as or even more important than what you're actually doing. So we're doing a lot of work on that too. That's a project that I'm personally on, along with Lindsay and Taylor, who I couldn't be happier with that team for the communications committee. We've been having a lot of fun and doing a lot of positive stuff, and we're seeing results from it already. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, and they're good people. One thing that I've seen, which is desperately needed, one thing that I have seen a lot you guys do, and especially coming up, is testifying in various states. And I think with VTA out of the picture, obviously now, we still don't know what's going on with VTA, but obviously not in the picture for the 2021 legislative session. States that are not organized, states like Rhode Island, some of these states that have been never got a chance to organize in a state association for one reason or another, they're kind of left out to dry. It's very important for us to support these other states, and being able to lend hand, especially from states that are organized, that have done it for a very long time, worked with lobbyists, to be able to give testimony, to be able to go and give some direction to the people. I saw the other day the testimonies there, and I mean, it was nice to see a lot of people testifying, but a lot of the people weren't even educated, business owners, on how to testify in these hearings. When you have a specific hearing that's, for example, tax, or a specific hearing that's flavor ban, and you get up there and you start talking about just random stuff, most legislators play Candy Crush on their phone. So even just being able for SFATA to lend a hand and try to educate some of these people in states that really need it right now, I think it's a huge role, and I think it's a huge role that SFATA really needs to take seriously for this upcoming session.
Oh yeah, I absolutely agree on that. And that's actually something that we're going to be doing through our state council meetings, is kind of just like showing people that, you kind of have to, like you mentioned, you kind of have to stay on topic. Like if you have entirely different testimony if you're talking about a flavor ban than if you're talking about a tax, than if you're talking about something else. Because you're right. I think a lot of people right now, like, they all come in and they all have kind of a similar story, and it's sad to say this, because like it's a valid story and it's an important story, but it's
Absolutely.
not what you need to hear. Like everybody comes on and says, like, I started smoking when I was this age, I started vaping when I was this age, I started my business, I employed this many people, and those are all valid and important things, but they're not always the right thing to say in every situation.
Oh, yeah, they're very passionate stories, and they're very touching for us being in the industry, but in a political climate, it doesn't work. It's something that I'm very well versed on. I'm very trained on that, to recognize the crowd that you're talking about, and just trying to stay on topic of what we're doing. And again, hopefully, like I said, as we're moving into this new session, people that need help will be able to reach out to SFATA or to whoever and try to get some help on that.
Hey, David, let me jump in here for a quick second. You said before that you're doing a lot of things, you're involved in a lot of things, and you said you're starting to see results. What are some of those results? I'm just curious.
Well, so this is an incredibly new thing. Like we just started on some of these new initiatives about a month ago, but so the early indicators of success for this is mainly community engagement. And we are seeing that. We're seeing a lot more people, and I know some of this stuff sounds dumb, but like, we've seen a lot of more activity in like some of our Facebook groups that we use to disseminate information. We're seeing more activity in the group calls, for example. And obviously, like, that alone doesn't count as a success, but it's kind of it's an indicator that we're going in the right path.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Feel the PACT Act is not going away, if that's what you were hoping for. It's not going to happen. No. Got a question from the audience, and it's a little bit fitting here. I want to get your thoughts on as well too. I hope I don't offend anyone by asking this, but why is marijuana seemingly being more tolerated than vaping in the past couple of years? I'm not against pot, but it just seems juice is considered worse. I'll let you go first, Dave.
Well, I mean, I guess my guess would be kind of the same reason that flavored alcohol is not a hot button issue, but flavored vaping is. The legislators don't want to ever go after stuff that they use or stuff that their constituents use, because that's going to be unpopular. And I think, I don't know whether this is an accurate assessment or not, but I think they think that a lot of their constituents use marijuana more so than flavored vaping products.
Can I try to answer that a lot easier?
I agree. Yeah, go ahead, Phil.
It makes a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of there's definitely more people that are using weed than vapes. I mean, I think that's number one. And when you have a lot of people that are using vapes, then it becomes into a big business. Then some of the states figured out that this is a way of generating income. And the weed lobby was smart to be able to get that into a way to present it where they can get these legalizations in various states and bringing in money for the state, even though illegal weed sales are still tremendously, probably more so now, because when you legalize something, it becomes expensive and shitty weed. But
as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, next week we will be announcing Platform THC. Really looking forward to that, especially the reviews. Very much looking forward to the reviews of the Platform THC products. Yes,
you don't want me to do a review on a weed product.
No, you're a disaster. Oh,
I'm a disaster. But yeah, I agree, David, and I agree with you, Phil, as well. I think it's a combination of two, but I think the main reason is that they have been fighting this fight for 30 years, and we're just, we're babies considered to the organization that they had. And unfortunately, we didn't have the spike in consumer users continue through the middle years, 2016, 2017, 2018. We didn't have a spike of conversions to get 30 million, 40 million on board, with vaping to influence. In fact, our numbers went the opposite way. So I hope that answers your question, Michael. That's just the thoughts of me and the panel that's here. Just a little bit more on SFATA. As you're looking to the federal legislation, and we're talking about FDA, we're talking about Congress, is SFATA prepared? Is it lobbied up on a federal level to continue take that? I mean, do we have anybody federally representing the vape guys?
So I think the fight these days is a little different than it used to be, in the sense that like we're not really talking to Congress as much anymore, because basically the response that we've gotten with them over the last year or so is just, we have more important things to talk about. We don't want to deal with you right now. And don't get me wrong, like if we had substantially more funding than we did, like, yeah, we could send in an army of lobbyists, kind of like, Altria does and stuff like that.
Sure.
But unfortunately, like, just because of the constriction of the industry over the last little bit, like, we kind of have to pick our battles and what we can deal with and what we can't, and like the PACT Act is a good example. Like, I'm not sure there's anything that could have been done about that, just because of the way it was done. Kind of stuck it in there. Yeah, like, no, I'm not saying it would have been impossible, but it would have been it's much more complicated than dealing with a bill that comes out in the open that we can fight back and forth on and stuff like that. That was kind of just like snuck in there.
I think that federal representation is important, and it's just been so dissected over the years. Even when VTA at its highest, when we had Jdl on board and a couple others with that very, very powerful lobby, I think the message was convoluted, because here we are saying we're representing the open vapor industry, right? We need to have the vape guys, which is us, and then we have a board member on board that we're really kind of fighting against being represented in the same lobby. And that puts a mixed message with the legislators. When I go talk to my legislators in Tennessee, when I walk in, I remind them, well, my lobbyist reminds me, these are the vape guys. And then if I know the legislator, okay. But if I don't know the legislator, I'll say, I'm not Jdl. Like, this is how I introduce myself. We're not Jdl. We're completely different. But I think that the message up there and federally was convoluted. And again, the fault of our own industry not being able to separate the two, meaning those systems from our systems, and being able to get that message. But funding is always a problem, Dave. And we're talking about playing in a field that requires millions. I mean, literally millions every year in order to be successful and to have any kind of success, or even with a PACT Act. I mean, if you look at the definition of the PACT Act, as it was written, it's clear they didn't get any kind of input from anybody. Because it's pissed off the weed guys, it's pissed off big tobacco, it's pissed off the vape guys, it's pissed off everybody. Because there was nobody there, I think, sitting down and saying, hey, listen, the way that you have this worded, it pretty much captures anything that produces aerosol, anything. I mean, it's just so bad. So let's get into the PACT Act a little bit. I know SFATA has been doing some seminars and trying to guide people and businesses through this. And I will tell you, for my clients, the PACT Act is a huge, burdensome task for anybody, small, medium, or large. This is something that requires literally a dedicated team on your company to be able to comply, or contract it out, which is, again, kind of costs a lot of money and kind of excludes medium and small companies out. But I want to get your thoughts on the PACT Act.
Well, I mean, I agree with what you just said. It's like a lot of the other things, including like the deeming regulations and stuff like that, where it's a rule or a law that was intended for big tobacco, that we just kind of got shoehorned into afterwards. So yeah, like it's not entirely relevant to us. It's not made with success of small and medium-sized businesses in mind, and it's going to be difficult for people. I've heard a couple companies saying that they've found ways that they're going to be able to keep doing direct-to-consumer shipping and stuff like that. But when I try to ask him details about how that's happening, so we can kind of like spread the word around, I haven't really heard anything that I think is actually possible. Now, I hope I'm wrong on that. I really do. But the way it looks to me at this point is it's going to be pretty impossible for BDC shipping, and it's going to make even B2B shipping, like wholesale shipping, very difficult.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be B2C is going to be, well, I mean, if you're going to use non-common carriers, as they're called, it's going to increase cost. Number one, you order a bottle of liquid and it's going to be like $18 shipping to get it to you. It might not even get directly to your house. You might have to go pick it up somewhere. So the cost is going to make it prohibitive. I think things will eventually kind of straighten out. We'll find solutions simply because if there's demand is there and somebody can make money out of it, then there's always a solution. That's the great thing about America. So I'm not panicking yet. I'm not jumping out of the fourth story window yet. But for businesses, it creates a huge problem. More so than I think the consumer, because I think that it's a gray area. It's a black area. I mean, weed is being transported through USPS daily. I mean, I don't know how I don't know how to count. Phil probably knows more, but I mean, I think that there's still going to be companies shipping out there. Even they'll find a way to word it where, you know, you don't really know, and they're not going to sit there and open every package. So as much as we're worried about the B2C, I think there's going to be a solution. But the B2B is a situation where you're dealing with the ATF. I mean, the ATF can literally bust into your room where you're sitting right now and arrest you and seize everything that's in there. So for a business that gets caught selling, it's a serious offense. The paperwork that you have to go through, the bonds, the licenses, the reports, taxes every month, I mean, even for my biggest clients, it's nearly impossible for them to do it in-house. Is that what you're seeing?
Oh yeah. You know, in fact, for my own company, we've kind of had to pick and choose and say like, okay, we can't do all 50 states. It's just not possible given the manpower that we have. So we're kind of picking like, well, you know, we do a lot of business in this state, but their reporting requirements are not as hard as other states. So we're going to stay there. Right. But this state over here, we don't do as much business, and the reporting requirements are a lot more. So we just can't sell there anymore. Right. And it's frustrating because there's no, you know, outside of all the paperwork, there's no essential difference of shipping something to, you know, Texas over Maryland or anywhere else. But now all of a sudden we have to make those choices. Yeah. And to be fair, we still have the 30-day comment period. We're going to wait to see what the final rule is going to look like for USPS. I mean,
I was going to ask that, Dimitri. So the last time we talked about this, I had asked you a question. I had asked you the same question right before we started the show. You said you're not jumping off a bridge the last time we talked about this, right?
Yeah, and I'm still not.
Where are you right now with this?
I'm still not jumping. I think that there are going to be solutions will be found. Oh, hey, Nick Grim Green, welcome to chat.
Hey, Nick.
I think we're gonna find solutions because this industry is just so resourceful when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, the PMTA is a prime example. This was a write-off beginning of June for everybody, for most companies. The PMTA deadline, and look what happened just from a small group with Char and Amanda and everybody else, and through the coalition that Azim created. I mean, we are resourceful as a group. I think solutions will be found. So I'm not really concerned about it right now. I hate that some small businesses will go out of business. I mean, I hate that for anybody. I think that's just not just for vapes, just for any kind of small business in America. I hate seeing them closing the doors, but some of them are, or they're going to have to go underground.
Do you think that the comment period is going to get us anywhere? Number one, and number two, you know, we had talked about the fact that, you know, this is more than just the small vapor companies, but this is big tobacco companies, right? This is like we even talked about Juul, how that they have a subscription service. Yep. Right. So, do you have any hopes for the comment period and maybe something getting done in between? I'll ask that question to both of you guys.
Yeah, I'll wait for Dave to answer first. Go ahead.
Well, so as far as is there any hope? Yeah, there's always hope. You know, and it's not over until it's over. And like I'll be honest, there's been a lot of times already in the vape industry that I've seen, you know, something coming up and being like, well, that's it. You know, I'm going to fight as hard as I can until they shut me down, and then obviously I'm gone. Yeah. And we were able to overcome it. So is this going to be the end? Like I could see how it could be, but I don't think it will be now.
Yeah, I think I mean, I agree. It's really going to depend how hard the weed guys are going to fight this, because if they're pissed, right, and they definitely have more money than us, and how hard. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're waiting, Phil, on the vaping industry to save this through USPS, I mean, you know what the answer is going to be there. You know, I saw somebody make a post today. I'm trying to get 1 million tweets of people saying they quit smoking with vaping. We can't reach 1 million people. The biggest influencer in this space can't reach 1 million people. So if we're lucky and the stars align and some of the big guys get mad and we're able to get some pushback to the USPS, it might. Will it be like a revolutionary change and it goes away? I don't think that's going to happen.
Let me ask a question to you, to David here at this point. So, David, would you be interested at all in going in with me and Dimitri on this? There's a 3-person model that you might be interested in. This 3-person submarine here, because this is our plan. I don't know if you know that. That's what we're going to is we're going to be shipping from a submarine right off the coast. Yeah,
you're gonna have to come to the coast to meet us anywhere on the coast.
Yeah, that's a really nice 3-person model too. Yeah. I think that fit us comfortably. Really.
First of all, can you get the weight restriction on that thing?
Yeah. Well, no, it's okay. There's a couple 3. Look at the seats there. Very comfortable. Very nice.
I got shotgun.
Yeah. So unfortunately, like. I'm in the desert, so I don't know if a submersible would be.
That's a bad business idea for you. I'm not gonna lie, that's just a bad business idea.
Maybe like a sand rail.
That brings me to a very good question from the chat. Do you guys think that anything? This is from Milos Vujanovic. I completely botched that, but anyway, Vujanovic. I should know that better. Do you guys think anything significant might happen after the PAC stuff passes, as in more pushback then? I will say yes. I think that there will be, because I think that there's still millions of people that vape that don't know that this passed. Honestly, I was lucky enough to be invited to Channel 9 here, the local ABC affiliate, to talk about this week on an interview. And the reporter was flabbergasted when I told her what the PACT Act entails for vaping. And they actually did a very positive piece. They actually put the call to action on an ABC affiliate, which I found really funny. So they gave where you can go and comment on USPS and contact your congressman. It said it said in the piece, both on the TV piece and on the website. So it was good. But I think that the majority of people don't know. And then, when they get that email from their company saying, hey, we can't ship to you anymore, I think that we might see, which is a good thing. I think that we might see a consumer outburst, Dave.
Oh yeah, no, and that's both a good thing and a bad thing. But I think the problem is, like, at this point, the PACT Act, it's not going to go away, kind of like you said.
Yeah.
I think it'll be very difficult to get USPS to allow vape shipments again, just because correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's written into the law that they can't.
Correct.
So so it's not a matter of USPS changing their minds on something. Like, it would take another act of Congress to make that happen. And again, like, never say never, nothing's impossible. But USPS
might allow direct to the consumer sales with a signature, for example, or they might change where hardware is allowed, because the way it's written now, not even hardware is allowed, even if it doesn't contain any nicotine products. Which I don't know how they're going to be able to check it. Again, my point is, if you make a website, if all you're selling is hardware, if you make a website that doesn't mention vaping anywhere on there, you can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's very simple. If I take a battery and I ship it alongside with a box that doesn't say nothing vaping on it, there's no way that the USPS is going to flag that or pull that over. But I mean, I agree with you. But we might see some changing of the way that the USPS might handle it. That's all.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. And, of course, the other thing is there is no law stopping FedEx and UPS from doing this stuff. Those are company policies that could be influenced.
Yeah. And Nick says he had some people in his chat. I know he did a live today with 𝗪𝗪 talking about a lot of this stuff. And I've been enjoying seeing those vlogs, Nick. And seeing a lot more advocacy from your channel. I wish a lot of the reviewers did it. I still don't see it from a lot of reviewers, unfortunately. But he said that he had a lot of folks in the chat today that had no idea what was happening. That, again, shows you the failure of our industry to be able to reach the consumers and create a base where we can get a message out quickly and a call to action quickly. I'm flabbergasted. I mean, again, granted, we are an exception. and by we, I'm talking about everybody that's in the chat and, you know, the people that do this shit, and we live and breathe vape all the time. You know, we're passionate about it. I don't expect everybody to be that. But if you use this product as it was intended and you quit smoking and you feel better and you breathe better and you smell better and you're like, man, this is a fucking great product, you'd think that you would be able to keep up with at least, you know, what's happening with it. But it's sad to see it within our own community that people, even just today, I saw somewhere in the Vape Team Facebook group or something like, oh, I heard that shipping is banned for vapes. Like today, like where you been, motherfucker? All the time. Business, you know?
But like you think about it though, seriously, if you're a consumer and you're not watching YouTube, you're not watching shows like this, you're my mom. You're my mom, the vaping consumer, right? How is she gonna know?
I agree.
What?
I agree with you.
Right? How is she going to know? Really, the only way she's going to know, especially from a shipping perspective, right, is if she goes to xnxvapingcompany.com and right there on a splash screen, the first thing that she sees is, this is coming. We need to fight it. Here's how you fight it. But I've been to the big three retailers, online retailers, and I haven't seen anything. Right? So I really think, I don't know if it's necessarily shows like this. I don't know. But it's like that point of contact where people are going to do their orders. That's where they need to be educated. And I don't think they're getting educated in those places.
Well, they only send out emails when they do give like, oh, you need to stock up now. Here's 20% coupon. They can sell off their shit. They do that shit all the time. But I agree with you. I think just like anything, we talked about this pre-show a little bit, so I'll go ahead and get into it now. I think this inability of us to be able to organize and through all the groups, be honest and be real with it. And I remember at times when things started to get real, and I would say it, people said, "Oh, you're fear mongering, and you know you're trying to scare people and all that." But I mean, Bill will vouch that everything that I said has come true, right? I mean, it's not like I was lying to people, but I was just maybe informing them too early that it was coming and people just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I think that we have failed just across the board, whether it's going to be on a consumer level, on a business level, or even just in a social level, to be able to have that quick, like weed users know everything. Like if something's going to happen with weed, they know immediately everything. They're just so much more organized than us. And, so, I mean, at this point, Dave, I guess my question is, do you think that we can fix that? Do you think that we can quickly, you know, recoup that and try to get into the mode where we can reach more people quickly? I felt bad for the lady that posted about the 1 million retweets because I wanted to post on the bottom. I was like, honey, you're sitting, if you get 1,000 retweets on this, I'll throw a party for you because there's just no way you're going to get 1 million retweets of people that quit smoking, you know?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I saw that same thing. And you know what, though? Like, I know this might sound a little bit lame, but when I see stuff like that, I retweeted it. Is that going to
get... Sure. It doesn't sound lame. I mean, I agree with you. I retweeted it as well, too, but it's still the same 50 people that are going to retweet her tweet, that retweet my tweet, that retweet Green's tweet, that do your tweet. It was just the same bunch. I'm not talking she's going to get 50 retweets, but you're not going to get 1 million.
You're probably right, but like I guess the point of me bringing that up was like I think there's a lot of people out there who see the problems that we're facing and they think, no, that's too hard, so I'm just not going to do anything.
Sure.
So I would encourage everybody to do as much as you can. If everybody does as much as they can, we have enough people. If everyone does something, that we could overcome this. But we're absolutely not going to overcome it if people don't do things. Now, I don't know if getting 1 million retweets on a tweet is the lightning rod that the industry needs, but
it couldn't hurt.
Yeah, it's certainly a start, and it takes 5 seconds.
That's how you trend. We've never trended for any kind of cause for nothing. We've never trended on Twitter for any kind of any call to action. I mean, this is algorithms that I pay attention to. 215-335-752 if you have any questions to call in or comment. Question from Green Eyed Lady. And THC vapes got shoehorned in alongside vapors. Possible alliance. I don't think it's going to be a possible alliance, Dave, between us and them. Two different products, two different, we're making two different cases. But if anything else, I think that they're more powerful than us. It could possibly help us, but I don't see us forming an alliance, especially when we've tried so hard to disassociate ourselves from tainted THC carts that cause the volley. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we worked really hard to pull ourselves out of that hole. What do you think, Dave?
No, I agree. I think short-term alliances for the cause could be possible, but long-term, no. Like, everyone's going to look out for their own interests. But that's why it makes it more important that vapors and vaping companies and stuff like that do as much as we can for our own cause. Because, like we were talking about before the show, nobody is coming to save us. Like, if we're going to survive this, we have to do it.
Yep.
So
I agree. I agree. If we, I'm working with some tobacco companies here to pass my bill this year in Tennessee, and which gives preemption to no cities and localities can make any laws about vapor products, and I had to trade off. I had to give them up, including vaping in the Indoor Smoking Act, where smoking is prohibited, then vaping is prohibited as well too. It is what it is. You have to make some sacrifices, but preemption is very, very important for small business in Tennessee, especially a state that doesn't have taxes or restrictions. So if some of these tobacco companies can help me, absolutely, I'll work with them hand to hand unless it gets to the point where we can't walk hand to hand anymore. So if THC could do it, yeah. Michael Hatch, how long will the loophole last with flavor boosters? I have had recently to buy in flavored Nick juice and order a flavor booster that then turns that into a 12 milligram juice like normal. It is my understanding that flavor boosters will never go away, Dave. And correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, it's a product that can't be classified as a tobacco product by the FDA.
So I think you're right, but I've heard both sides of that, because I've heard that if the intended usage is to mix it with a tobacco product, then it becomes a tobacco product. But honestly, that's a question that would better be answered by like a real lawyer, which I'm not. Yeah,
I think that, well, I will tell you what I think, and I'm not a real lawyer, but I've talked about this with lawyers as well too. I think obviously the law is clearly written. If it's intended to be used, now they're going to have to prove that you intend to use it. As a personal consumer using this product, they're not going to do anything. I don't think that loophole, I don't even think it's a loophole, honestly. Flavoring boosters is clearly a product that's not defined under the Tobacco Control Act as a tobacco product. There's no argument in that. So with a little bit of ingenuity, I just don't see it going away. I think that you're going to be okay for that, Michael. Anyway, let's get back a little bit to the PACT Act, just to close that off. A lot of people say I'm too laid back about this, or I'm not taking it very seriously, but I'm taking it seriously, Dave. Don't get me wrong. But I also understand that you have to look at the reality of what is going on in this country. And the reality is that it's impossible for USPS to open every package that's being shipped every day. I mean, the majority of packages are not opened up every day. So I'm not really, am I wrong to say that, okay, yeah, there might be some small businesses that can't comply. They're going to go out of business. Maybe they'll find a distributor or a bigger company, because all the big websites that I've personally talked to, like ejuices.co and My Vapor Store and Element Vape, it looks like they've all come up with some sort of solution to be able to ship. So am I wrong when I'm saying, like, I'm not happy about it. I'm pissed about it. But I'm not really freaking out about it.
No, I think you're right about that. And so the way I look at that is, it's kind of like doctors, like I've seen, doctors that, like, a family member is critically injured, and the family will kind of freak out and say, doctor, like, why aren't you taking this more seriously? Why aren't you freaking out too? And I think the two answers to that, just for, like, it's the same for us as it is for them, is we can't do our jobs as well if we're freaking out. Like, advocates have to have a cool head. And the second thing is, there just isn't enough emotional and mental energy to freak out over everything. Like, you burn out fast if you do that. So, like,
sure,
to be more effective, both in the short term and the long term, you can't. And it's frustrating, because, like, you want to, like I don't think anybody is saying that nobody is taking this seriously. But I think there's a very big difference about, between saying, hey, this is an issue and we need to address it, and here's step 1, 2, 3, and 4 of what we're going to do and try to take care of this, versus, the emotional response of, I'm going to go on Facebook and I'm going to hit that caps lock and I'm just going to go to town on it. You know, one of those things is more effective than the other. So we need to look at it a little bit more logically, I think.
We got a telephone line 832. You've been waiting patiently on 832. You're on the air with Phil, the very exotic Phil today, Dimmy and Dave. What's up?
Hey, brother. I just wanted to ask Phil, do you think you could pilot that submarine to Galveston?
Down to Galveston. Can you pilot it down to Galveston?
Because I'll be on the sand. I'll be on the beach waiting for you to throw my juice out.
Let me tell you something.
It
We can put it on GPS, buddy. It'll take us anywhere. Don't worry.
There you go. There you go. It is getting very, very close to everybody worrying about it.
Yeah.
And I think that as far as everybody coming together and for the consumer side of it, and I've said this, you know, me and my wife, I don't, and this is bad. This is going to sound bad, okay? But hear it from the common Joe, okay? Hear it from the common Joe. I don't think it's my responsibility to get into a situation where it's above my head. You know, Dimitri, hey, brother, hats off to you. You jumped into it. You jumped into it.
Yes, you're right.
You filled the shoes that we couldn't fill. Okay, you don't want me in a room with these people. I've told you this last week, the week before.
Yeah.
But I feel that this is all needs to be done. And I know y'all went to Anakin, y'all went to other people, and y'all got money. But somehow or another, and I sit here and I watch your guests now, and talking about the change within his organization of people, and he has that point where who wants to be the white knight. I think that needs to be nipped in the bud real quick. It's everybody. It's the common Joe.
Yeah.
It's the common person out there buying each and every week to stay off of cigarettes, to be healthy for their family. That's the hero. Okay, that's here nor there. That doesn't even need to be discussed.
I agree with him, Phil. I mean, I agree. You can only ask so much from a consumer. You have your family to worry about. You have your kids, your job. We can't ask these people to go out there.
Dimitri, that kind of speaks to something that you've said time and time again. When was the last time you saw Big Tobacco ask their users for any help on anything?
Never.
Right? Never.
Exactly. My point.
Yeah.
My point.
Yeah. You make a very good point.
Hey, I don't mean to sound rude or crappy about it. I really
don't. You don't.
Really
You're
don't.
realistic, man. I appreciate the honesty because that's the truth.
And I'm the first one to stand right here, and I tell my wife every time, hey, if they want to jack the price of a $27 bottle or a $40 bottle up $3 more, I go as high as $5. I don't go no higher than that.
Yeah.
I could understand it.
Yeah.
I could understand it because that's the way of America.
Right.
That's the way of America. You got to pay them people on that hill.
Yeah.
You got to pay the crooked person on the top of the hill, or you're not going to be able to get shit you want. Nothing you want in life.
You're absolutely right.
And they're proving it to us now.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I can remember being young and saying, "Damn, I wish weed was legal."
Yeah.
I wish it was legal. Now here I am, 54 years old, 10 years clean, and I don't want the shit. I don't want to see the shit. I don't want to be around nobody who's on the shit.
They went too late, man. I know.
Yeah, they're way too late. They're way too late. Hey, thank you for everything y'all do, brother.
Appreciate it, brother.
And hey, hold on. Before we go, one more thing, real quick. Listen, last week you said you wanted a happy show. You wanted a good show. You wanted a show where we sit down and have a few drinks.
Yes, I know I did that.
And we talk about you and Phil having a website together where we get on and we become a member of.
Yeah, OnlyFans. OnlyFans.
By all means. Okay,
yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm down for.
All right.
You know, as much, and I've told y'all in the past, as much as I watch YouTube of all vape shows, I would pay for some. I'd pay for that.
All right.
I would pay for your information, your guidance.
We're gonna do a test show the next DP show, Phil. Go ahead.
Absolutely. You know, I totally agree with him. And it all starts with you putting a super chat out there right now. Go ahead.
Just don't listen to him.
Okay.
All right. Hey, listen. Send me the coordinates for the Galveston beach. We're gonna make it happen.
I'll do that.
All right, buddy.
You know, I scrolled down here. Look at this. I scrolled down, and there's 4-person models. Look, hold on. Look, there's 5-person. We could invite a lot of people.
We can have a vape expo in the summer.
Hold on a second. Look. Wait a second. 6-person model. Look at that.
Right there.
And we could go down to 1,000 meters too on that one.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't have to go down that low. As long as we're just below the surface where they can't see us. That's all. I don't want to go too deep. I'm a little bit frightened by that.
Well, you can't go too deep.
Question
So
by
that's
Austin
okay.
Green. Why not? Can we get a feature film made that isn't behind a paywall about the truth of vaping? Paywalls limit the spread of audiences. Well, I mean, it takes money, Austin, as like anything else. I mean, to make a film that's going to be, you know, good production, get on Netflix and all that, it takes money. And if there's no money to be made, nobody's going to make a film. You know?
How many people do you think saw 1 A Million Lives, 2 You Don't Know About Nicotine? How many?
Me, you, and Dave. No, I'm just, Vapors. I mean, that's who saw him. Vapors saw him.
Yeah.
Both of the films, unfortunately. I hope that You Don't Know Nicotine maybe at some point makes a deal with, especially now that there's not a lot of movies coming out because of COVID. I'm hoping that they might make a deal where it goes on a Hulu or on Amazon or on Netflix. But by the time it comes out, you know, again, it'll be outdated info. This industry moves so fast that I don't know. We'll see. But Austin, that's the answer. There's just no money to make that. Let me just flip it real quick before we get into some funny stuff. Trace Verify. Okay, I learned about this concept a couple years ago when you were started to working on it, and well. First of all, explain.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Did we just lose him?
I don't know.
We did. He went bye-bye.
Let me see here.
Hold on. Let me do this, and let me go to this.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's a nice picture.
No, that's not good. That's not working.
Just go to you. I'll talk from the back until.
Yeah, see if you can get him back on, and so that's why the screen just got really funky.
Yeah,
because the screen is set up for a 3-shot with him in the zoom window. As soon as he dropped out of the zoom window, that's why the screen got really messed up. Let's see. Hello, Pam. Hello, Larry. Larry, you know what? You got to come over here and sit next to me during one of these shows. I think the banter would be a lot of fun. I really do.
It's just gonna be me busting Larry's balls. Really, his internet got cut off. He's coming back.
His internet got cut off?
Yeah.
Okay, so when he comes back, I want you to give him shit about his internet and give me a little bit of.
Though, if I give him shit.
What's that?
Good. It's not funny if I give him.
I know. I was actually really concerned. I thought for sure that I was going to drop the line tonight because my internet has been up, down, slow, fast for the past week. It's been really horrible.
Well,
so
wearing that shirt, I'm surprised it hasn't crashed, honestly.
Listen, the shirt's good. I got a couple more of these. I might have to break them out for the DP shows. You never know what shirt I'm going to wear next. You know.
I don't know if you should be breaking them out. But you know, I saw, for example, Coming to America too. Did you see it?
No, I didn't. I can't
You've seen Coming to. You don't have to change. Just keep it on you. That's fine. You can just hear my voice. Coming to America. I was disappointed. I mean, you can't.
Were
take
you
a classic
really
like that? I mean, a funny movie from 30 years ago, right? I mean, Coming to America was hilarious. One of the funniest movies. One of my top 10 funny movies of all time.
Don't tell me that. Because I was really looking forward to it.
I mean, I was disappointed. You can't make.
Let me just do this real quick.
Try to do sequel from 30 years ago and be successful. There's just no good stuff coming up on film. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll see You Don't Know Nicotine on Netflix or something.
Maybe, but I mean, like I'm really upset that you told me that because I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And do you think that maybe part of it is that you can't be funny anymore because if you're truly funny, you're going to fucking offend somebody? Do you think maybe? It
could be that be the possibility. But even I mean, it was okay. I watched it through the entire thing with my family, but it wasn't as good or as funny as the first one. So that's a little bit of a letdown.
Oh, and the first one was really good.
Yeah, of course. Of course it is. All right. So Dave is back. I was just getting into Trace Verify, Dave. And I first learned about this technology a couple of years ago. I think we talked a little bit about more. Last time we saw you was in Las Vegas, was over a year ago, which is unbelievable now. But But obviously, I mean, I followed the technology as soon as you came out. So before I give you my thoughts and where we are on that, tell us exactly what Trace Verify is.
Sure. So the short version is basically we put a serial number on every vapor product that goes out, and there's a couple of ways we do that. Sometimes it's QR code, sometimes it's RFID chips. But either way, like it makes it so every bottle is distinguishable from every other bottle. And just to clarify, that means, if you have 3 bottles of an apple flavor in 3 milligrams, 60 milliliter, they still have different serial numbers, even though they're an identical product. And the idea is when somebody purchases it, they scan their ID, you scan the serial number on the product, and then if that product ends up in a school or something like that later, it can be traced back to the person who furnished it to the minor. So yeah, that's the short version of it.
So I mean, Phil, if you think about this as a technology, right, it makes sense, right? I mean,
Sure
we keep hearing always kids. We know that kids get most of these products through straw sales or from a friend or something like that. But the good thing about this technology, which makes sense, is that if you catch somebody with a product in school or a parent catches the product on their kids, they can actually use this technology to trace back its origins, like where was it originally sold. Then maybe the store can go back and look at the video and see who bought that bottle that day, or if the guy bought 10 bottles to go and distribute them out. So it would make sense. My question to you, Dave, is like, how has the industry responded to trace back? Because I mean, ultimately, the point I'm trying to make is like you'd think that this is a common sense technology. People would adapt to it very quickly. Maybe we'd start seeing Chinese companies use it. We'd see more liquid companies using it, but just it doesn't seem that way. It doesn't seem like it was adapted as I thought it would, because I thought it was a really good idea when you came out with it.
Well, there's kind of 2 different groups of people in the industry when we talk to them. A lot of my personal circle is mostly advocates, just because that's the people that I know. Sure. And the response has been overwhelmingly positive from those folks. When we reach out to people that are not advocacy centric, it's kind of hit and miss. Some people see it, some people don't. A lot of times when they do see it, it's for different reasons. Because like with the advocacy folks, I can just say, hey, this will actually stop kids from vaping, and they say, okay, great, I'm on board. With a lot of stores and stuff like that don't care quite as much, the pitch is a little different. We have to say, hey, this will make it so you can prove to your city council or whatever that you're not the problem. Or for manufacturers, we could say, hey, this could be the write-up of this could make a solid addition to your PMTA. And then they see it when it's kind of more focused on them and their business, which again I get. However, I think the reason that you're not seeing it everywhere yet, hopefully this is the only reason, is we decided to redo a lot of it. We had some concerns just because anything that collects personal data is right. There's privacy concerns, and we want to make absolutely sure that nothing's happening with that. Sure. That's not supposed to be. In addition, when we were building it, we kind of built it like module by module, and we're trying to tie everything together into a much more user-friendly experience and stuff like that. So we will be doing a big marketing push on that here in a couple of months as soon as that's done, and hopefully you'll see a lot more people using it at that point.
I just feel like this industry in general over the years has not been able to agree on anything, really. I mean, self-regulate and put some parameters in place where we can go to the FDA and say, look, the majority of stakeholders in this industry do this. We have 30 mil, we have 60 mil. We have standard operating procedures. We have good manufacturing practices. I mean, we're only mixing for 4 ingredients, so we really don't have to be, class level 9,000, labs with hazmat suits and all that. And we have a standardized testing method, and this is how we test and titrate our nicotine. Right? This is our standardized labeling system, right? We're all going to agree that we're going to put 12 milligram on board, not 1.2 or whatever, right? We're all going to standardize that. We start off with PG and not VG. We say 30, 50 or whatever. But this industry has done none of that. I mean, none. We can't even agree on a bottle size. And it just seems like it's been our downfall. And when people say it's the wild, wild west, I don't really agree totally with that terminology. But in a sense, when we're talking about from a regulatory pathway, something that we knew since 2014 was coming, by the way. Not like they just dropped this PMTA on our head on September, right? We knew it from 2014. it just seems like this industry just can't get on fucking board, and let's just all work together. Let's agree on one thing to start off with. We can't even agree on that.
Yeah, well, I think the big problem is that for some reason the folks in this industry, and it might be just because a lot of people before they got into this industry, they were not business people. They had jobs, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the mentality is always that the government should tell us exactly what we're supposed to do so we can comply with it. And I think a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too. When I first got in the industry, I had no idea of this, but you know, for your viewers here to, you know, kind of learn what I learned, it's not like that. You know, for the most part, the regulatory process is us telling them, hey, this is what we want.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Yeah, so it's been rough, and you know, like I can understand the FDA being kind of frustrated by that too, because that's what they're used to. They're used to, you know, they say, hey, you guys need to, you know, you have this problem, fix it and tell us how you're going to fix it, and then the industry does, and we have not, because we've been waiting for them to tell us exactly what to do, so we could do it. So it's you know, it's kind of like the example of like a, you know, like you know, high school, a girl and a guy like each other, neither one of them wants to make the first move, so nothing ever happens. And everyone just ends up frustrated, and you know, that's kind of where we're at. So like I think you're right, like we need to make the first move on that. You know, it's years overdue, but hopefully not too late.
But how do we achieve that? Every time we try, you know, we tried vape-free youth in 2015, you know, that didn't work out. Then we try to, you know, come up with some standardized, you know, bottle sizes. Like we didn't. Then we try to get up some standardized testing with AIMS and whatever, you know, the liquid group. You know how well that went. But I mean, just in general, I just see it. Even now, with my biggest concern with the PMTA is not the actual PMTA process, but the inability of this industry to submit PMTAs that are at least on the same page. And we have just a slew of shit that we have sent to the FDA. The FDA is going to look at this and they're going to say, well, there is no standardized, you know, for this product. We're going to remove it until you guys get your act together. Then you can come back and apply.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. And in fact, that's one of the reasons that I chose for my company to use Shar and Amanda's method, you know, because there was a lot of people doing that. And as far as I know, that's still the largest group of people that did their applications in the same way. And, you know, the hope is kind of that they would look at those and be like, oh, there's thousands of these applications that are done in this exact format with the same information and stuff like that. So, you know, instead of telling them that they're wrong, we can just say, this is the right way. And then tell the people who didn't do it, like, hey, this is how you have to do it.
Yeah.
Will that work? I don't know. But, you know, I think it's got a better chance than a lot.
I think, you know, going back to what you said about SFATA trying to be more transparent, you know, there's a caveat to that, unfortunately, is like when you get out there and you tell people, you know, we're going to do this, then everybody starts criticizing that. Like, oh, you're doing it wrong. You know, even people that are not even like, you don't really give a shit about, like you don't, they're not going to be members and they have no stake in this industry or whatever. They start criticizing that. And everybody's just so influenced about it that they all kind of like jump on it and like, you know, so, you know, you have the hidden ones, you know, the secret ones, and everybody's like, oh, what are they doing? It's secret over there. We don't want to join this organization. Then you have the other ones that say, oh, did you see what SFATA did? I don't agree with that. I think that's wrong. I would have done it this way, right? And then they put, and I think that we fall into that same situation every time that we try to come up with a plan of, okay, let's try to get this industry a little bit more organized. You know, removing cartoons from a label. I think that's common sense. I think everybody maybe today agrees with it, but back in 2015 they didn't. We heard everything. We heard everything from nostalgia. We heard from, you know, freedom of rights. We heard of it. I mean, I can name you 100 reasons what people were given when we started Vape for Youth that eventually it killed the movement within a few months. You know.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely a thing. And you know, I know you already know the kind of the backstory on this, but like I've always been a big fan of like we just need to get everybody on the same page, even if it's not what I think is the best page. Yeah. Having everybody on the same page is important. You know, and that even goes back to the you know, VTA at its height. You know, like we wanted to kind of move everything together, even if I didn't agree with everything that they did. Having everybody on the same page would have been better than having, you know, some people in this organization, some people in that organization.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of people sitting on the sidelines saying, you two need to fight it out and like figure your shit out. And then once you do, then I'll join.
I don't agree
well,
100% with anybody in this industry.
Oh, yeah.
VTA, so I don't agree 100%, but I support the movement. I mean, if it's something that's good and it's going to support the industry, yeah, you have to support it. If it's something that's going to be detrimental to the industry, we're going to be critical of it. But if it's something that's going to be good, people need to support it or shut up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and people just can't. It's just drama drives.
Are we talking about this a little bit late in the game at this point?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, why even have unless all of these moves, the ban, the shipping ban, everything, really eliminates the number of players out there, right? And then if you have a smaller number of players, maybe that smaller number of players can come to an agreement on a few things.
That's one way that will happen. I think the other thing that's worth noting now is there are not multiple federal organizations anymore. Like I haven't heard anything from AIMSA in a while, so I don't know what's up with them. So I don't want to count them if they're not. But I haven't heard anything from them in a while. We've talked about VTA already.
Yep.
We have so we have Greg
USVA. I mean, that's one that's still out there. Whatever.
Yeah, they're. So I don't want to talk too much about them because I don't know a lot about them, and I don't.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out stuff that's still there. I'm not saying what they're doing or they're not doing.
Yeah, and I know but they seem, and I could be very wrong about this, but from what I've seen, they're very singularly focused on this lawsuit of theirs.
Correct.
Which I really hope they win, for sure.
Absolutely. But it is a membership organization. People pay dues. That's why.
Yeah. And then we have 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗹, who again is very singularly focused on PMTA testing. And then we have SFATA.
Yeah.
And even then, of course there's Greg Connolly, but he's always kind of been his own force of nature doing his own thing. And also Greg gets along with everybody for the most part. So I don't really consider it a conflicting thing or anything like that. And also to mention 𝗵𝗵 and SFATA, I can't imagine organizations having closer ties. Like the president of 𝗵𝗵 is, one of my business partners. They co-pack my liquid and we do a distro together. There's tons of communication going on between the two organizations because I think we both realize that we have to work together. It doesn't mean that we all have to be under one single organization, as long as we're on the same page on stuff though, and we are. So.
Yeah, I agree. Benjai asks, would this mail ban have any impact on quality of liquids or hardware in the distant future? No, I don't. There's no. The only thing that's going to make it more expensive and it's going to drive people back to smoking. That's the only impact that this mail ban. I think that some people, especially in rural areas, if they can't get their stuff, they can go in every fucking corner of America and buy cigarettes. I mean, literally, they could probably walk out of their house in Bumblefuck, Georgia, and down at Billy Bob's country store, they can get cigarettes. I mean, that's just the truth. In every corner of America, you can buy a pack of smokes. In every corner. So that's going to be the impact, in my opinion. And as far as the products are concerned, no, it's just going to be more expensive. If there are solutions B2C to ship, they're going to be expensive. And that might be.
It's funny that you bring up quality of liquids. First of all, Pam, thank you very much on the tan comment.
Hey, Pam.
But we talk about the quality of e-liquids. Does that really matter to anybody? Because it seemed to me like quality went right out the window when it came to price, right? Like, what did people really want more? Did they really want quality, or did they really want 50-cent gallons of e-liquid? Because that's what I think they wanted, and that really destroyed the e-liquid market, right? Like we've always said, we've had liquid gold in a bottle. Right, and it's the industry that destroyed the pricing on e-liquid. And let me tell you guys something, okay? So I've been vaping since 2009. God knows some of the shit that I vaped in my time. Never once did I get sick. I lived through the bathtub juice. I lived through guys mixing e-liquid on their bed with their cats running around. Right? Here I am talking about it. Right now, that's not to say that I'm not happy that the industry has evolved and gone to safer manufacturing standards and gone to quality and gone that direction. But what did that buy us? Where did that get us? That all these guys building these beautiful multi-million-dollar factories, You know, sure, they sold a lot of e-liquid, but bottom line, long term, long play, what did that get us? To me, nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Nothing.
Right? Not a fucking thing.
I think we all agree on that. I think we all agree on it. And look, it feels right. We've vaped some shitty liquid over the years, and we haven't. So I'm not really concerned about the quality that much, either for hardware or for liquid. But I am really concerned about the accessibility of these products. And we've always talked about accessibility and affordability. And when vaping becomes more expensive than smoking, that deters people from switching. And people that have switched, it deters them from continuing to vape when it becomes too expensive for them to vape. So that's a problem. Another one here. This question is a little bit. Maybe I'll get into it a little bit later. But Pico says, Phil says quality isn't a concern, but would that be true if the best seller from the Unsalted e-liquid product line wasn't a delicious watermelon peach?
Let me tell you something. First of all, it's not, if you're gonna say it, please say it right. Let me go to.
I was just reading his message. So don't blame me.
It's the #1 best-selling flavor in the Unsalted line, the delicious watermelon peach. And don't you worry, because right now in the back of the house, in the hot tub, I have a brand new batch brewing. I'm gonna go sit in there after the show, turn the bubbles on because that mixes it up. That's how I mix it. That's how I mix it. Like, see, people don't understand that. You know how, like, Willy Wonka, how he churned the chocolate with the waterfall, right?
Yes.
That's how I mixed the juice, the hot tub with the bubbler.
I couldn't put my finger on that tang in that liquid, but now I know.
Now you know. So really, I mean, if you want to experience the #1 best-selling flavor in the Unsalted line, go over to Dash Vapes, because what I do is I churn it up in the hot tub with the bubbler and me sitting in there, right? And then I send it up to Dash Vapes. Yes. It's a part of the process that you may not be familiar with, but that's how I do it, right? So give some a shot, and don't worry about it.
Since we got on a funny topic, what's up with the gravy, Dave? What's up with gravy? How'd you get this?
Okay, so I told you guys earlier I got in the industry in 2015, right? And even though that's quite a while ago now, like the industry already had a ton of companies in 2015. So I had trouble finding a name that wasn't already taken. Like all the obvious ones were already taken. They were already good. So what I did was I wrote this little macro that I could put in like seed words, and then it would go to thesaurus.com and take every synonym for each of the words and try every combination of every synonym of every word to see if the domain name was available.
Okay.
And I put in e-cig juice. And it turned, one of the combinations that it came back with, it turned e-cig into vape, and it turned juice into gravy. And I saw that, and I was like, that is so ridiculous. I have that.
I remember seeing you in one of the shows. I don't know if I talked to you then or not, if I knew you or whatever, but I did remember you in a show that you had a shirt that said gravy on it. And I was like, Here we go. It'd be like some fucking mashed potato e-liquid vape company coming up. It was the time where it was like liquid of the week. Like it was donut, yogurt, suck my balls, whatever. Every week there was like a different. I was like, oh my god.
What would you say? Like it started with tobaccos, then it went to fruits. What was the first one? Was it probably cereals?
I think the first one would no. The first one was cheesecake, strawberry milkshake.
Oh, the strawberry milkshake.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Milkshakes were the first, and then it was cereals, big, then donuts, then yogurt, then.
That's right, because it was chock full of diacetyl.
Yes.
Do you know? I don't think anybody, maybe a couple people on the chat, like if I say chock full of diacetyl, some people would know exactly what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about, and then some people wouldn't.
Yeah, the majority of people wouldn't. And that's like 50 years ago in vaping. Also, what is this fascination, Dave, for people that know? What is this fucking fascination you have with lasagna? What the fuck's up with that?
So, there's actually not a great story behind that. I just really like lasagna.
Like you literally go and buy like pans of lasagna from Costco.
Yeah.
Like if you open your refrigerator, you have like lasagna and milk. Like it's like a.
To be honest with you, that's where I thought the gravy came from.
No, it's just so the reason that like everybody knows about that now, like I've been eating Costco lasagna since I lived back at home with my parents, 20 plus years ago. But they always come in usually by 6 pounds, and it's 2 3-pound lasagnas, right? Yeah. So I was going through there and I saw there was a 12-pound option. I was like, great, like now I can only buy one of those instead of like several of these, and I'll just have 4 3-pound lasagnas. And I didn't even realize until I got home that it was not 4 3-pound lasagnas. It was 1 12-pound lasagna that I had purchased. So, I did this whole Facebook thing about it, and we ended up throwing a party at my house. It was a lasagna party, and I just
lasagna party. That sounds like a good
so I ate it. So yeah, then now Facebook won't let me live it down, and I'm okay with that because Costco lasagna is delicious.
Yes,
absolutely. I need to address a very important comment in the chat here real quick. Janine,
I saw it.
Janine, first of all, I appreciate it. Janine says that I look. Let me go.
I'll read it for you. Since
no, Janine. She says I look.
Let me read it. I'll read the comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
You look exceptionally handsome in that shirt. Should I be concerned, considering I have a wife of 30 years?
No, we have a choice.
I'm going to let you answer, then I'm going to comment on it.
We have 2 choices. Number 1, I could try to turn you, but I don't know if that would be the politically correct thing to say these days.
That is the stupidest thing you've ever said on this show. Like, you are going to turn a woman that loves another way. That's never going to happen.
Or I just join in, right?
Yeah, well, that possibly that could happen.
Okay, either or would be just fine.
But all I was going to say is, like, this is your luck. It's men and Janine. This is how you're running. Lately,
do you know? Okay, look. Okay, this is just look at these, right?
Both that you can't have, by the way.
I have a what? Okay, these are all vape shows, right? All vape shows, right? All vape shows. Not to mention the collection that I have in Rochester. Of all of the times that somebody has grabbed my ass at a vape show,
oh boy,
it's been guys every fucking time. Every time. It's like, it's a joke. It's a joke, right? But you think once. You turn around and there would be a girl there.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. Speaking of funny things, I sent you a link on Facebook if you want to bring it up. There's a town up in Long Island, New York. I mean, New York at this point, for crying out loud. But this is a town of Hempstead that is trying to ban vape stores near schools. I never understand this concept. Like 1,000 feet away from, I had to run in this with liquor license. I was looking at a place to rent to open up a restaurant years back, and they said, well, you can't have liquor because it's 1,000 feet within a church. So I was thinking to myself, what if it's 1,001 feet? Is that okay? So like Christians, they only walk like for 1,000 feet before they go in. If 1 foot is going to make a difference. But anyway, in this town, the reason why I bring up this story is there's a very, very good quote inside here. Okay, this is this town has a medical director in Long Island. Imagine that, right? The medical director's name is Dr. 𝗍𝗵𝗶𝗹, and this is his testimony that he's giving to have vape shops banned close to schools and parks. He says, and I quote, "Serious lung damage, serious cardiovascular problems, other complications that we don't know yet because we haven't studied nicotine delivery devices on human beings." I'm going to repeat that for the gallery. So they want to ban this because of serious lung damage, serious cardiovascular problems, other complications that we don't know yet because we haven't studied nicotine delivery devices on human beings. So what he's saying is, like, we don't know, but we want to ban this because we don't know, because we haven't studied it. But we want to ban this because this is going to be a problem in the town center. Dave, that's a huge obstacle to overcome. Like, I mean, even me, let's say I clean up, I put my suit on, and I walk into this, and I stand up and I speak for the vapor industry. And then here comes Dr. 𝗍𝗵𝗶𝗹. I'm sure he's very well respected in the town that he lives in. He's the medical director for Clara. And he says, we got to ban this because there's serious lung problems with it. I mean, we haven't studied it yet, but, there's serious lung problems. We should ban it.
Hey, listen,
obstacle.
Before you comment on that, I just want you to know that I actually fully support this decision because looking at this video here, there's not a single Inikin product that this place sells. So you go ahead and knock it. I'm fine.
But
with
Dave,
it, really.
yeah, I mean, you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That actually, that quote reminds me a lot of Governor Cuomo.
Yeah.
His,
so what?
The "but who cares" quote.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
vaping's safer than smoking. Who cares?
Yes.
I mean, I care. I think a lot of people care.
Yeah.
Smokers certainly care. Vapors certainly care. Yeah, but I will say, and I'm always an eternal optimist about this stuff, but there's been a couple things that have happened recently that actually give me hope in that respect. The first one is Cliff Douglas. Did you see that whole thing?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, man, that was so good. Guy worked directly under Matt Myers for a while, 33 years in tobacco control, ended as the vice president of something with tobacco for American Cancer Society. Mm-hmm. And then, now that he's done, he's saying, that it's being approached in the wrong way. The other one was
somebody needs to hire him and pay him. By the way, I just want to put this out there because we can retweet him again. He got 67 retweets on that. We're talking about 1 million people reaching with it. He got 67 retweets on this tweet, which is ridiculous. But in my opinion, people like that need to be hired. The reason why they want to get paid. I'm being completely honest. People like the Winston man. These are all people that we could have put in positions if we paid them to get out there on mainstream media and fight for vaping, because that's what we need to do. We need to pay him. So somebody needs to get him and pay him right now. And it's probably Altria, by the way, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, they have the money that we don't, unfortunately. Yep. And it's not even that. Like I think a lot of it is that just vape companies don't seem to be as open to funding the fight to save their business as other industries are. I can say this, my company, I donate 1/3 of the money that I bring into advocacy.
Yeah, and that's a lot.
Well, it's actually not, but I just don't make.
Well, the percentage is a lot.
Yeah, but it's unreasonable to ask anybody else to do that. But if everybody gave 5%, we would have more money than we knew what to do with. But instead, we're struggling.
Yeah, and it's just going to get worse. Unfortunately, it's not going to get any better as these companies start to exit. I think if you look at the overall scope of where we're heading, 2021, we have 28 states right now, if I'm not mistaken, that are taxing vapor products, which are impacted by the PACT Act. But we have a 2021 session that's coming up. I think there's at least a dozen states that are trying to ban flavored products or tax these products. So, if you're looking at a small business that's trying to pick and choose where they're going to ship, if you have 30 states by the end of the session, that's pretty much, 2/3 of America. That's going to be excluded of where you're going to be able to ship products. Everybody's going to be shipping products to Tennessee, I guess. But it's that's just the reality of where we're heading. And every state is different. This is what's funny about it, is every state has a different set of taxation rules and regulations that you have to buy. It's one thing if okay, it's 5% across the world, it's easy to do accounting, but you have 40% here. Other states have different, tax on closed vapor products, open vapor products, hardware is different, liquid is different. It's so confusing. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's still some good things happening too. The one good thing I can think about with COVID is, when we talked about this a little earlier, but the fact that we can testify remotely. Instead of having to, fly there and stuff like that. There's a running total of the number of hearings that SFATA leadership has testified in, and I don't know what it is right now, and I probably should have checked that before this show, but I know a couple of weeks ago it was at 28. I know I personally, at this point, have done 11. And I don't know whether this is because the anti-nicotine people are spreading themselves too thin, or if maybe legislators are just getting sick of talking about vaping, but we have had an incredibly high success record this year so far.
Yeah, I see it. You're pretty much justified on everything. I watch it. I monitor everything. Trust me, I don't.
Hey, I got a question for you. I got a question for you guys. Both of you guys, I want to bring this up. What are your comments on the Who's, our buddies over there at the Who, jumping in?
Let me say goodnight to Janine, and I hope your friend that we sent her that kid, I hope she's doing well with vaping. Go ahead, Dave. Your thoughts on the World Hurt organization?
I don't hold them in very high regard, so I don't really care what they say. I think a lot of people in America don't really hold them in high regard either.
I think it's one good thing that Trump did when he stopped the funding to the WHO. I think it brought a lot of attention to it, and I think it's worked in our favor. See, Phil, I say the good things and the bad things. But I think that by him shining light on the WHO, which had nothing to do with vaping, obviously, but him shining light, I think it made people question what this organization is all about and who is behind it. And the connection with China and all that, which again works in our favor as well too. But we got a different administration now.
Well, I think it also it starts a even bigger conversation too, that just NGOs have a lot of power that they are not using very well. Yeah. And so it's not just the WHO, it's a lot of the ones that are traditionally seen in a very good light, like American Cancer Society, Lung Association. Anything that Bloomberg touches seems to rot. And they they've gotten a pass on that for a long time because, those organizations do some good things, but I think now people are kind of seeing that just because they do some good things doesn't mean that they do all good things, and they kind of need to be examined a little closer. Yeah,
on the vaping, it's just you got to follow who funds them. 772, you're on the air with Phil, Dimmy, and and Dave. Oops, maybe if I unmute you, go ahead again. 772. I'm sorry.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how are you doing? This is Robin up in Ocala.
Hey, Robin. Good. How are you, hon?
I'm fine. Nice show tonight.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Dave. Hey,
nice
Phil,
to meet you
what's
too.
going on? All right. Well, you know that I'm not on any social media, and that includes the Google chat. So I just sent a quick email to the 𝗵𝗵𝗀 address.
Yeah.
And what it is, let me go over there. I just kind of want to know your thoughts on this. I don't understand everything about the government, but it sort of sounds good about how Florida held its first hearing on its T21 bill and SB 1080 and passed 3 little points here. Looks like no flavor ban and the nicotine products and the tobacco products will be separately regulated with separate licenses. So this is where I want to make sure, am I reading that right? Is that good news? So we're no longer thinking that vaping is a tobacco product, right? So is this another good thing happening here in Florida? Does it look like to you?
Phil?
Yeah, right now, yeah. When it comes around again, who knows? But I think I think DeSantis is a little bit more conservative.
DeSantis is the goat.
What's
he
that?
Is the goat, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I want to clarify here, when you see this separation of nicotine, what they're calling smokeless nicotine products. So if you look at that terminology, it's obviously not a terminology that it got from us. Okay. Big tobacco has something to do with that as well too. We have the IQOS that's coming to the market now. Big tobacco has some oral products, on the market as well too. They have vapor products as well too. So a lot of that comes from, because we have the same thing in Tennessee. In Tennessee, vapor products cannot be taxed as tobacco products under the definition of what cigarettes are right here in Tennessee. So it's the same. But a lot of that had to do because what the big tobacco companies are trying to distinguish is, get away from that taxation of a cigarette on a product that doesn't meet the qualification. Right? Because these products are less harmful than cigarettes. So it's a good thing, no matter who brings it up, it's a good thing. And the flavor ban, yes, in Florida got avoided. But like Phil said, it can come back next year. The legislators that keep bringing back legislation, especially if they fail and they fail miserably, they take it a little bit personally. And it's going to come back. So you got to be ready. You got to stay strong over there and keep on top of it. And FSFA stay on top of things that are coming. Yeah.
Okay, I was just kind of hoping maybe this was some sort of a final decision. It sure sounded good, but like you said, there's a lot of reading, and I've still got to read the whole thing myself. So, but that's all I saw, and it kind of caught my attention.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Nick would be able to comment on this. Nick Orlando would be able to comment much better than I can. But it is a win. It's a win, but like I said, it's a win right now until it comes around again, right? But I think the other thing that we have going for us here in Florida, and it's something that Dimitri makes fun of, is the fact that we have an older clientele that's vaping here, right? And I think that works. I think that works in our benefit.
I agree with that.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yep.
Well, Robin, you have a wonderful evening there in Ocala, and I hope.
Thanks, Robin. Hey, why does
down there? Yes, go ahead.
Too.
Yes,
thanks,
you
Robin.
Too, but I have one question for
Shoot.
Amy.
Oh boy.
One special question. No, it's an easy one. I hope.
Okay.
I sent you. I felt so bad. I saw that show when you first came out, and you were all wrapped up like the mummy. And I sent you an email get well card, but I don't know if it actually went through, or it just shows from the site that I ordered to send it to you. It said it's still not picked up.
Right. So I have never received it.
Hard side.
Yeah. My email is vapinggreek@gmail.com. All one word with one G. Vapinggreek@gmail.com. But I haven't received it. So I appreciate you sending. That's very sweet of you.
Actually, excuse me here for a second. All of his email right now goes through me because he has limited use of his hands. So I've really been filtering the emails. So it's like, just anything that's been really sexual,
Robin,
I let it go through
any woman that
to improve his
me,
mood.
I get cock blocked. That's what happens all the time. He does it to me all the time. He's even cock blocking my email. Can you believe this, man? It's just unbelievable.
He's so possessive. He's possessive of you.
He sure is.
Bless his heart.
But yeah, I haven't gotten it yet. I apologize, but maybe resend it. Vapinggreek@gmail.com. I hope I get it. I would be looking forward to seeing it. And I appreciate your well thoughts.
As long as your Nurse Ratchet there doesn't intercept it again.
Nurse Ratchet, I love it.
I like that.
Okay,
I'm writing that. I'm jotting that down.
Thank you, Robin. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Robin.
She's so sweet.
Hey, Melissa finally showed up. Like, what could be more important in her life that she shows up so late to the show?
For real. Well, listen, Nurse Ratchet, I wanted to we talked about this hamster because I was really joking, but I had one really important topic that I want to bring up with all of you guys since it's an all-male panel today, and I had a very important question.
Oh boy,
I want to have a little bit of fun with this.
Oh boy,
I'm gonna start with you first, Phil. I don't want to put Dave on the spot first.
Oh great.
Women on TV that are not popular, they're not like your regular hot women on TV. For example, you can say somebody like Megan Fox, right? Everybody knows her. She's hot, right? Everybody knows that. I want to know, give me one name, Phil, of a woman on TV that you think is very, very hot, but she's not mainstream hot.
Are you trying to get us canceled?
Who's going to cancel us? I'm just asking for an opinion.
Women, I got to think about that one. I don't know because
I'll help. I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Maybe I'll help your train of thought.
Okay.
Rebecca on Pawn Stars, the book expert.
Okay. I don't know her that well, but okay. All right, I'll buy that. So wait. So it's got to be somebody. It's got to be somebody that's not attractive but is attractive. Is that what you're saying, or just somebody who's not
attractive but she's not? Dave, are you catching?
She's
my
not
point?
known as being attractive, right?
Yes.
She's not. Okay, I got one.
Okay, go ahead.
I got one. This is gonna get us canceled for sure.
Go ahead.
And I got the hots for her. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, that's what we need. That's what we're looking for.
AOC.
Really? Wow, I'm shocked by that.
Aren't you? Right? You would never expect that from me.
I'm shocked, but I mean,
there is something. I don't know what it is. I don't know. You know what it is? I don't know why.
We just lost all the Trump viewers, by the way.
What?
We just lost all the Trump viewers.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't want to look. I don't want to listen to her. I just want to, there's something like a little bit Britney Spears about her.
Wow.
She's got, in her face.
Wow.
I'm telling you
what the chat is going to say. Dave, go ahead. Toss me a name.
So
yeah, I know you've put some thought in this. I can tell you're a guy that probably thinks about this late at night.
No, so I'm having trouble thinking of this because so honestly these days I watch almost exclusively movies, which means everyone on there is the intentionally hot one.
Yes, I get it.
But I want to say something about AOC though. I've heard people say that before, and I disagreed until you remember that video of her dancing on a roof came out. I remember seeing that, and I was like, man, okay, I can kind of see it here.
I think if you look at shows for example, I'll give you another name. And Phil, you probably, I'm sure you don't know, but maybe a lot of the people know. Cecily Strong. She is on Saturday Night Live. She's one of the comedians, one of the cast. She looks hot. But you don't see her in mainstream media being the hot chick. Poppy Harlow from CNN. I think she's hot. I mean, these are I'm just reading, I'm saying these names and you kind of looking at me. Look, what do you think, Phil?
She's good looking.
She's smoking hot.
She's a good looking woman. Yeah. She's a very good looking woman.
But you never hear oh my God, you don't hear in a Megan Fox kind of sense of way of name.
I see what you're saying.
The chat is saying Martha Stewart. Ed Costello. Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart.
Ed would say that. Johnny Stansel says AOC is hot. Hunter says Daphne from Frasier.
Oh, I got an idea.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Hold on, wait. Hold on. Let me think about this here.
Go ahead.
No, hold on. I want to make sure. I think I know what. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, I'm just looking at the chats. I agree with Phil. Look at the video of her dancing.
Right.
Yeah. Really? No, it would be easier if she wasn't so dumb, says Ghost. I told you you're going to piss off some people with that.
Okay. Wait, this is going to get us canceled for sure.
Yeah, AOC is hot until she opens her mouth.
Right,
so
right. Yeah.
So Phil needs to fill that mouth up.
Oh my God. Come on now. Listen, but here it is. Ready?
Yes.
The ultimate Jello wrestling match.
Okay.
AOC and Ivanka Trump.
And Ivanka Trump. Yeah. I mean, Ivanka Trump is, she's in that mainstream hot light, but
Dave, I'm so sorry you're part of this show. I really am. I apologize in advance, but
I was going to say, you're going to get me in trouble just for being here, man.
It was going well. No, don't worry about it.
Tell me that would not be okay. Put that on pay-per-view. I'm buying it. AOC and Ivanka Trump Jello wrestling. I'm buying that shit.
I know you have. The hots for Ivanka.
I really do. I think I got a shot too. Hold on.
I got tagged for watching CNN and CNL, so
I think Ivanka would be very attracted to me tonight.
Snowflake. I don't know. I thought that was fun. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was just like looking through, when I watch the shows, and sometimes you see somebody, you're like, man, she's hot, but she doesn't get like the recognition of hot. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's kind of like you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like me. Melissa, by the way, Simmons says the PHC passed legislation here in Connecticut to ban all flavored tobacco, including cigarettes and vaping products. Now the bill must still be voted on the General Assembly. So hopefully some work will be done in the General Assembly. Connecticut has some good vendors. They've had some group up there that's been active, Dave, to fight legislation. So
yeah, they have some good people up there. I was actually just talking with a couple of them yesterday. So yeah, like that's definitely one of the states. And for the record, any state that wants our help, reach out to us and we will help you. Like no conditions or anything like that. But Connecticut has reached out and we are working with them.
We don't have to be a SFATA chapter to. Nope. I'm just kidding. It's a joke from 6 years ago.
No. Yeah, right. No, so this is the way I see it, right? Like, I'm a like historical war buff, right?
Yeah.
And I see it kind of like Normandy, like D-Day. If they get a foothold somewhere, it's very easy for them to like spread out from there. So we got to stop them from doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
So like it doesn't matter if it's a state that's not associated with SFATA. I don't care if you hate SFATA. Like if you want some more people to testify, hit us up and we'll do it.
That's good to know. And that's going to be needed a lot this year because we don't have anybody else that's doing it. And it's just you and Greg, and that's pretty much it. And with Paul Blair's addition to National Tobacco, that's a good pickup for them. And I'm sure it was a good pickup for Paul as well, too. But we have some people out there that are going to be active and trying to get what I'm saying, Melissa, is maybe at the General Assembly. This bill has been brought up in Connecticut for the last 2 or 3 years, if I'm not mistaken, and it's failed every time. So I'm hoping that the same thing happens once it reaches the General Assembly and cooler heads prevail. And I heard today, Dave, that the FDA is making a list of products that have filed PMTA or what they consider to be legal products on the market. Did you hear the same thing?
They've been saying that since last year, like not too long after the PMTA deadline. But from what I'm hearing from companies, like we're not that far along in the process yet. Like we're still waiting even on our acceptance letter for my personal stuff. But I have no reason to believe that we're not going to get it because a lot of people that use the exact same method as you did have gone
just a little bit behind. That's all.
Yeah. Well, and that was I don't want to say intentionally on purpose, but like we kind of waited until the last minute to file because that kind of gives us the opportunity to learn from other people's mistakes in the future steps.
Yeah.
But either way, like we've heard from a lot of people that when they get accepted, they get a phone call from the FDA and the FDA asks them if they want to be on that list or not. Now, I think that's probably the right way for the FDA to do it because just publishing a list and putting you on it without your permission is, it's a violation of some sort in my mind, at least. I'm big on data security and stuff like that. However, the fact that it's a voluntary list kind of renders the list useless if you think about it. Because like the benefit of having that list is the store could look at it and say, oh, like, are you on this list or aren't you? And I can tell whether you're legal or not based on that. But if there are legal products that are not on that list, then like, what does that mean?
Correct. And how are you going to be able to prove it? And then the other thing is, like, look, I mean, I think it's going to help us with the legislators, right? I think it's going to help us when we're going to a state capitol, when they keep saying this, oh, this is illegal products and all that, and say, hey, shut the fuck up. Here's the list from the FDA. I think that's going to help us there. But I don't think it's going to change anything in the distribution of these products, because there's a lot of shops that just don't give a shit. They just sell whatever's hot and whatever, they has the marketing that goes behind it. So I don't understand the thinking about it. Today, I got a call from the FDA to tell me about this. I filed 800 PMTAs. This was the first call that I got telling me that my PMTA has been accepted. And I wasn't concerned either. But even though I didn't use charge method, but I got this is bureaucracy in America. I got a call from the FDA telling me they're going to send me 2 emails. The first email is going to say that correspondence between me and the FDA is not a secure way. And I have to reply to that email saying, I understand that correspondence with the FDA via email is not a secure way. And after I replied that, then they were going to send me the acceptance letter via email on the second email. So, I mean, think about this, folks. This is the way the federal government is working. They send me an email telling me it's not secure, and I have to agree to that before they send me the acceptance letter via email. Obviously, they mailed a hard copy as well, too. They said it's going to come to my house. But this is what we're dealing with. This is the people that are in charge of protecting public health and reviewing billions of FDA PMTA applications that have gone in. And God help us all. God help America as well, too. What do you think, Dave?
I couldn't have said it better myself.
A little bit. It's a little bit.
Yeah, the fact that, and they're getting better at it now, but like I remember, when I first started talking with the federal government, late 2016, early 2017, the fact that they had just no idea about anything related to the industry. They were just like, yeah, we have to regulate you, but like they didn't know anything about it. Like everything from manufacturing standards to like, they didn't, I remember talking to somebody at FDA that was unaware that like specialty vape shops even existed. Like they thought that we were all just sold out of gas stations.
Yeah.
And those are the people that make decisions that affect whether, I can pay my mortgage or not. So that's cool, I guess.
Yeah, we're fucked. That's what I'm saying, Phil.
Pretty much. Because I think we have the ability to combat it, right? We do things like David's other project. I'm sorry, what was the name of it, David? The
Trace Verify.
Yeah. Okay, so you have something like that. You do proper age verification online. Maybe you take away all of the vape products out of the C stores. You make vape shops 21 and over. I mean, there's ways that we can combat this. There's ways that we can get around it. But you know what? Nobody's going to listen to reason. Nobody's going to listen to a good plan. They're not. They fucking want us gone. And there's nothing that we can do. There's nothing that we have done that's I think is going to change anybody's mind. Right? It's really unfortunate and it's really sad, but nothing we've put before them, no matter how well laid out it's been, has done anything for us.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think that with Altria coming in and spending a lot of money with IQOS and them pushing the FDA to separate, nicotine from smoking and getting the FDA on board of trying to get that message across, I think that we are going to see some positive things. We saw what Dave mentioned, American Cancer Society, bigwig coming out in support and trying to separate the two. Again, a lot of that's coming from big tobacco companies, and it requires a lot of money, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. Yeah. I think that just helps the cause, because whether they want it or not, we're here. So whatever they do to get the message across is good for us. But yeah, is it going to be immediate and sudden and overnight? No. But I think that I'm still remain hopeful that one day it's going to be better.
Hey, you know what? When you're hopeful, I'm hopeful.
Yeah. If you see me moving and getting out of the country, then you should be very concerned.
Or putting a down payment on the submarine.
Oh, the submarine.
To Johnny, just real quick to Johnny, definitely Mary Ann, and thank you for not bringing Mrs. Howell into the mix. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And a teaser from Bill Tarling. He wants me to remind you that he did work on the set with one of your favorites, Sarah Jessica Parker. See, that's what you should have said. Because again, I don't think that Sarah Jessica Parker is mainstream. Like she doesn't get the props like a hot chick, but she's hot.
Where did you think that I'm Sarah Jessica Parker?
Bill said that you're a fan.
No, not Sarah Jessica Parker.
No?
No.
Bill informed them.
Oh shit, what's her name?
That's old age, right?
I'll think of it. I know, it's really bad. It's really bad. I'll think of her name. Hold on.
By the way, Phil lives in Florida. His position for the COVID, he's going to get the COVID vaccine in 2029 right now. I think he just got the appointment the other day. They're doing 65 and over, and then he's afterwards. So it's going to take 8 years to get through the population of Florida.
Yeah. I remember now, Jennifer Aniston. But
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston. Oh my god,
she's mainstream hot. She's mainstream.
Yeah, she was definitely.
She's definitely hot. She's definitely hot.
Late 90s, they presented her.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, the problem with me right now is that Florida is 65 and over, and the problem is, thank God I'm not there yet. Not that there's anything wrong with being there, but that's pretty much 95% of the populations of Florida. So it's going to be a little while. No, I think they did. I think they dropped it down, but you have to have some kind of a medical condition to be able to get it under 65. And I know they just offered it to all teachers now are being considered first line people that are able to get the vaccine now in Florida too.
Psychological problems count in those because you might qualify for that, or you can say you're a caregiver for me. I have no arms, and you need to be back. That's what we did with my wife.
Could be. Oh, yeah, I'm a caregiver. That's right. Oh, believe me, I'm sure I can make up some shit and get in there. Well, you know, I think if I wear this shirt alone, they would feel
you qualify for it. Show up with Skechers, those jeans, and that shirt on. They're gonna oh, this guy really needs it.
To top this shirt off, I do have I got the jorts. I'm rocking the jorts tonight.
Nice.
Important.
Dave, don't say nice to him. You know you don't mean
No, they're making a huge comeback. They're making a huge comeback. I'm telling you. They're making. I was at a store, pretty hip store the other day, and it was just tables and tables of jorts. Making a huge comeback. Let's see.
I feel like the fact that you're calling it a hip store means that it probably wasn't.
Hip store?
No, man, I'm telling you. No. This is young people's store. It's young people's store.
Kohl's? What the fuck was it? Hip store with that jorts. All right, seriously. Listen, Dave, I want to congratulate you and I want to commend you for your work. And there's a lot of heroes in this industry that don't get a lot of praise. And I want to praise you no matter what, I know I joked around a lot tonight, but the truth is no matter who tries to step up and fill some shoes and take a position and do anything in advocacy is admirable. And I commend you for that. It's a difficult position to be in right now. And it's difficult shoes to fill, not only for the work that you're trying to do, but only for your personal satisfaction as well too. I mean, I have this, perverted thing where, I like to win, I'm saying, like, if I'm going to go fight, I want, when I go talk to legislators and when I'm fighting here in Tennessee, I want to win. Mm-hmm. So, I know that you feel the same way. So it's a very difficult position that you're in right now in the federal, but kudos to you and everybody that's taken the task. And then we know Sean Casey very well. I don't know Taylor that well. I've interacted with her quite a few in the past, but not in that level. But I know Sean is very dedicated to the cause, and he's a very, very educated person when it comes to that. And hopefully this board will be effective this year. And I wish you guys all the success, and I hope Lindsay learns how to fucking spell my name next time. That's all.
Jesus. Hey, look, David, your success is our success. So, how could you not wish any group success at this point, right? So exactly. Do what you guys do. If there's any way that we can help out, please let us know. And all of our best to you. We're all counting on you.
So I have one thing on that note. So Lindsay Stroud and I are going to be going to Idaho April 5th to the 9th. And we're going to be helping Idaho set up a state organization. So if you're listening to this and you're in the vapor industry and you're in Idaho, contact me or Lindsay. It's lindsay@sfata.org or dave@sfata.org. Let's set up a meeting. We want to get this stuff going for you guys. So that's our next project.
Well, there you go. David, Idaho does not have a state association. It's 2021. This is part of the issues that we're dealing with. But yeah,
David, something that I've always offered to any advocacy group is tasteyourjuice.com. I mean, you know, I don't get millions of hits on that, but it does have a fair amount of traffic, right? So if you ever need anything from an advocacy standpoint posted on that site, it's all yours. You just have to let me know.
I will absolutely take you up on that. Like we said before, like everyone can use all the help they can get, and I appreciate the offer.
Sure, absolutely.
And our platform here is always open, the Smoker Show and the DP Show. I know a lot of people are intimidated because I'm very raw, but, you know, I mean, I'm just honest, you know, I mean, I just keep it real, you know, and some people don't like to hear that. They don't like to hear the truth, but, you know, you have to say the good and you have to say the bad, huh?
They might not want to hear the truth, but they have to hear it.
They have to, and plus, you know, they're more than welcome to dispute what I'm saying, but nobody seems to. They seem just to want to avoid it because you know, when you try to put me on the stand, you're going to get the truth, and you're going to be able to fact check it, and that's what it boils down to. I'm all for let's all move forward and let's hold the hands and let's fight together. I'm down. I'm down for the cause anytime, and I've been available anytime people have questions, but. The goal is, this is what we have now. We have SFATA. We have to get behind it, and we have to help them. And that message goes to all the vapors, the consumers, and the businesses. We need to gather, because this is what we have. We need to gather and help them to try to succeed in what they're trying to do. Whether I agree with it, I didn't agree with 100% what the VTA did, but I was still a member, right? So I think that's the same thing here. I don't agree with 100% what SFATA did, but I think that we can all agree at 80% that we want to say vaping. I think we're all on board on that, right? So let's get out there and do that. Let's get out there and support him and try to make him successful, and give him a spell checker too. Let's get a spell checker for him. Phil, start a GoFundMe for that.
Absolutely, I'm on it.
All right, closing thoughts. I'll start first with our guest, Mr. Dave Gravy Morris.
You know, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having me on here. I've had a fun time. And you know, I think we've really gone over the main things I wanted to go over, which was just we need to work together. You know, like you just said, we're not all going to agree on everything, but we can agree on the important parts. And here's a little tip: if you don't like everything that your trade organization is doing, join them and change it from the inside. That's what we've all done. So,
very good point. Absolutely, Mr. Phil.
I'm just upset that we didn't talk about Dr. Seuss tonight. I thought we were going to get to that, but it appears that we didn't have enough time.
On the next DP show.
On the next DP show, we'll be taking on Dr. Seuss. I have another guest too that I'm trying to get on the show. It'll be an interesting conversation, that's for sure.
I don't mind doing a DP the next week if I saw somebody, Dave posted the show in one of his groups, and I see everything, Dave. I don't know if you know this about me, but I see a lot of things that people don't think I see. But I saw one of your friends says, "Oh, that's going to be an interesting name for a podcast." And this is how perverted your friends are. I mean, it's the 𝗵𝗵𝗶𝗹 𝗕𝗂𝗀 show, the DP show, the 𝗵𝗵𝗶.
Why
I don't know why everybody's mind goes
perverted.
Like
I don't understand. I don't get why people think that's perverted or something.
No, I don't get it either. Like, I mean, you're giving your tagline. It clearly says, opinions from both ends of the panel.
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Opinions from.
We're starting a new show. It's called the Giant Dildo Show. In a couple of weeks.
You need to hit the British lady. Hit the British lady one time, Phil.
Absolutely. Here it comes.
Oh my, opinions from both ends. You are listening to the DP Show with Dimmy and Phil.
See, even in the UK, they know it's the Dimmy and Phil show. That's what the DP is.
By the way, throw me a little props. You're impressed that I was able to pull that up that quick.
That was very good.
Thank you very much. See, sometimes. Yeah, it's good.
All right. So, I mean, first, I want to thank Dave for coming on. He's in a position now where he can effectively make change, and him coming on here and speaking boldly about these items is very important. It's very important for the industry to understand what's going on and where we stand from an advocacy standpoint, whether it's going to be local, city, state, or federally, and then make decisions how you want to spend your money, and you want to get out there and support. If your business is making money, you should be out there supporting SFATA, because that's what we have this year. But moreover, I think the most important thing that I want to take away from this is that no matter what's happened with groups coming, going, taking money, spending money, failing, succeeding, the total mountain of burden that they're putting on this industry over the last 4 or 5 years, we're still here. I mean, we're still here doing the show. We're still here vaping. If it's going to go underground, black market, we're going to still continue to do that. If this is what the government forces us to do, I guarantee you I'll have a private group on Telegram. You're going to be able to get there. I'm going to say, hey, you want David's gravy liquid? I can get you David's gravy liquid. I'm going to hook you up. On Telegram, I will make that happen.
Yeah,
right?
it's so true, D. I mean, like when you look at the people in this industry, there's a lot of people in this industry that they exploit it, right? They're just in it for the dollar. But there's a very, very big core of this industry that just doesn't want people to die of cancer anymore.
Yeah.
And I can't believe, and I never could believe how difficult they are making it for us to do that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I agree. But we're going to keep fighting. Whatever it takes. We will do whatever it takes. And get out there and look at Trace Verify. If you got any questions, reach out to Dave. And I don't understand. I mean, I know why, but there's just no reason at this point. If you're looking to you can always amend your PMTA. I don't know if, a lot of people know that, but I mean, you should. But anything that you do to improve your product and your manufacturing or testing, you can go back and amend your PMTA and show to the FDA, hey, look, a lot of us are trying to do the right thing here, trying to keep this product away from the hands of the youth. So I'm a little bit disappointed that it hasn't caught on more, but there's always an opportunity to make this thing viable and make it work. And just because Dave came up with the idea and not you didn't come up with the idea doesn't make it any less than a great idea, right? So get out there and give Trace Verify and just reach out to Dave. He's very, very accessible. He's on Facebook all day posting lasagna. So, you got plenty of time to reach out to him and ask him questions about it and how you can get it on your product. So that's what I had to say. If we get this guest, or if we don't, we might just do a DP show next week, Tuesday, Phil, next Tuesday night. Let's try to do another DP show.
Yeah, I have an idea that I want to do for
maybe we can do a laid back show. I don't know. I mean, we need to do
we should, but you know what? Maybe less vaping on the next show. Maybe more like
I can't drink. That's a bad thing.
Oh, what about smoke weed? Can you do that? Is that okay? Is that permitted by your doctor?
I can do that. I can take an oxy and smoke some weed.
Yeah, let's do that. That would make for an interesting show.
What does that combination do?
It'll be the Phil 𝗵𝗫 show, guaranteed.
Remember that time in Vegas, I was hearing myself like in 3D. I'd be listening from all like different.
Yeah, I have never seen anybody have like a more ridiculous reaction to a little bit of weed than fucking Dimitri. My God, he smoked like a little girl.
I do.
I apologize. That sounded very feminist. I can't. You can't say anything without offending people anymore. So I apologize for that comment. There you go.
Don't do that. All right. Listen, we appreciate everybody hanging out. Like and share this video. Subscribe to Phil if you haven't. I'm sure everybody's subscribed. But like it because it does help the algorithms of YouTube. Maybe it'll pop up on somebody's feed.
It does. By the way, let me just say that again, what Dimitri just said. You see that little subscribe thing over here to the left, the bottom left of the screen. Please do that because I actually went in and I looked at some analytics and like 90% of the people who watch this show and other reviews of mine are not subscribed to the channel.
Really?
Which actually surprised me. That really surprised me.
That's shocking.
So if you could, I mean, like, you don't have to listen to everything I say, but just go subscribe to the channel. Give it a like.
Most of your early subscribers probably are retired.
Retired, dead, flown out of the country. Yeah, for sure.
Funny story. There's a restaurant here in Chattanooga up the street from where I used to have my restaurant called 𝗵𝗵𝗺, and they have like meat and veggies. It's like all the people that go there are senior citizens, like 70 and above. So when I first came to Chattanooga, I sat down and talked to the lady and the husband that owns it. And the lady every day goes and buys the paper and she looks at the obituaries. And I said, why are you looking at the obituaries? She's like, I'm looking to see what my competition did today. How many customers did I lose? Literally, if you want to feel young about yourself, you go there to eat just to see all the people going in.
Oh, you want to feel young about yourself? Move into my block.
Yeah. Come to your neighborhood. Anyway, all right, thanks. That's all we had. We appreciate everybody hanging out, and thank you, Dave, again.
Thank you for having me. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys. Are we done with the show? David, I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much, and let's stay in touch. And like I said, if there's anything we could do, let's do it for you. But are we done? Is that it? Is that the end of the show? I think we kind of are.
Yes.
It's way past your bedtime.
Put my robo arm on and try to, look, I have it in a sling now. And
I know. I see. You know what? I think on the next DP show, We also get an update on your well-being, and maybe see some of your scars and stuff. If it won't
why do you want to see that? That's not funny.
No, it's kind of gross. Yeah,
Nothing good. Nothing good about that.
I damn near passed out when you showed me today. So it's okay.
Yeah, but listen, hey, we need to we need to get you vaccinated. That way, vaccinated. CDC said that vaccinated can hang out with other people that are vaccinated indoors.
I saw that without masks.
So if you get vaccinated as well too, then we invite all the vaccinated vapors, and we have like a vaccinated
vape show.
Orgy party.
Yeah,
That's what I meant. Yeah, vaccinated vape expo. That's what
sounds like fun.
It's gonna be the VVC, vaccinated vape expo.
Hey, look, I can't even tell you how many times I've offered to come visit you. Okay, but like you put me off, so I don't know.
Put you off, but
starting to take it personal a little bit.
No, don't take it personal.
No, I won't. I'll get over it in about 30 seconds. It's okay. So we done?
We're done. Outro. See you guys.
Good night, buddy. Good night, everybody. See you on the next one.